Hi students, today I am going to discuss the firewall concept. So this is the most important concept in the network security, because without firewall the proper security can be provided in the network or the internet during the transmission of data. So because a firewall can be defined as a special type of network security. Network security device or a software program that monitors and filters incoming and outgoing network traffic based on the defined set of security rules. Here some of the security rules are framed. Who framed this particular security of incoming and outgoing messages of internet messages are nothing but that is an IETF and Internet Society, that is an ISOC. So basically you can observe these two are a proper organization to set it the network security rules and regulations. So based on those rules and regulations, so a firewall can be defined a network security device or a software program. So you can observe these are the two a little bit identification of the parts in the firewalls. So that is a network security device. That means a device which can provide the network security. So that is that we can observe where we can this particular observe in the nothing but the IP security. Because in the IP security, IP packet how it can be secured when it can be transmitted through the network device, secured network device. Which device is maintained the network security? If the packet can be transmitted a normal packet, that packet can be converted into the security packet. So here looking like the firewall is also a type of network security device, or the firewall can implement the software program also that monitor every incoming and outgoing network traffic based on the messages. So it acts as a barrier between internal private networks and external source. External source is nothing but a public network. So the private network and the public network. So it acts as a barrier. You can observe this word. The firewall can be act as a barrier in between the private network and the public network. So coming to this particular firewall, so what is the primary purpose of this particular firewall? So the firewall is allow non-threatening traffic and prevent malicious or unwanted data traffic for protecting the computer from viruses and attacks. So here the two more factors can be identified here. So the viruses and attacks. So we already observed some of the network attacks. So attacks are made by the opponent. So who attacks? So nothing but the opponent can take that attacks. So attacks are taken to capture that to capture the original message. So we know that the attacks are different types: passive attacks and active attacks. This can be categorized into the different attacks. One is an interception attack, interruption attack, modification attack, and the fabrication attack. So coming to these, different types of attacks or the viruses are captured that particular message. So this firewall can protect that particular data so from the attacks of the viruses and the attackers. That's why the primary purpose of this firewall is allow non-threatening messages only, non-threatening traffic, and prevent malicious or unwanted data. So because if any unwanted data is coming from the remote side, the firewall can filter that particular, can identify that one. So if it is a threatening message, if it is an virus affected message, automatically the firewall can detect that, can avoid that particular message which is not accepted to this particular private or the public network. So a firewall can be protect the local system or the network of the system. That is one more identification of the firewall. So the firewall can protect the local system or network of the system. So a firewall is a cyber security tool. It is also one of the identification of this particular firewall is a cyber security tool that filters network traffic and helps user block malicious software from accessing the internet in unaffected computers. Now you can observe, if any message is coming through the internet which is an affected to that message, affected to the system, automatically the system is going off. So that means it is going to be corrupt. So whenever we can use the firewall can be act in between this particular network internet device and the user. So that's why it is act as a barrier. So the barrier can take the signal from the user side and forward that signal to the internet, and again the internet device can provide some of the message and passes through the firewall. First the firewall can check whether that message is affected of the virus affected or any malicious data can be transmitted from the source to destination. It may be observed clearly. Once it can be observed, so the message can be filtered, so that we have to observe repeatedly. I just point out one of the statement, the firewall can filter something. The filter, how it can be filtered, that is we can observe in the types of the firewalls. So now the major role of this firewall is nothing but it is a cyber security tool. It filters network traffic and helps user block malicious software from accessing the internet in unaffected computers. Now you can observe this particular diagram. So this is the firewall system. Now in firewall system, all the users are connected to the firewall system. You can observe here, all the users are connected to the firewall system. So this is the firewall system. This is the mediation between the firewall and the user. These all are the private networks or any other users may be connected. Now coming to this, here one more you can observe in our computer. So if any unnecessary data or unwanted data you have to be received, you just delete the data and that data can be stored in the recycle bin. Recycle bin here we called as nothing but the dustbin. So the dustbin is the wastage, whatever the wastage messages which can be taken forward to the dustbin. So what the major role of this particular firewall? The firewall is taken the communication in between these through this message is coming through the modem. Here we know that the modem, what is the use of the modem? Not only the modem, here some of the mediation device can be taken part in between the firewall and the users. So now you may be observed here. So the modem can take the information, forward that information to the n number of users. So here which are connected to the firewall. So simply the firewall takes the public network information from the internet. The public network is nothing but the internet. We already said in the previous classes. So the public network is nothing but the internet process. So the internet process, the firewall can get the information from the internet, and whatever the information is valid, is correct information, that can be forwarded to the users through the modem, and the remaining whatever the unnecessary message or unwanted message or the virus affected message or the malicious software message, so that message is forwarded to the dustbin. That is a wastage message, virus affected message. So the use of the firewall here you can clearly observe. If any information from the received from the public network, so it may be the filtered that information and forward that information through the modems. So all the modems here, the modems can convert the electrical signal into the digital signal or digital signal into the electrical. So it may be the convert of the signal whatever the required format of the user. So simply it can be access that information from the sources of the public network and forward the valid information to the users, and remaining the unwanted information or the threatened information or the virus information is forwarded to the dustbin. This is a major advantage of the firewall. Here we know that a virus is a program which is infected to the other program. So that means a program, a software can be forwarded, a software messages or any other document will forwarded from the public network. Each and everything is verified by the firewall and it will be forwarded to the a particular user based on the request manner. And coming to this, the firewall have become so powerful because it includes some variety of functions. What are the functions here can be accessed, here can be defined by the firewalls. So the first one is the network threat prevention. It prevent the whatever the threats are nothing but the threats or passive threat, active threats. So attack or threat is nothing but the passive threat or the active threat. So active threat are nothing but it is an interception, and passive threats are nothing but the interruption, modification and fabrication. And it can be have the built-in feature. These all are the built-in feature. This is the network threat prevention is the built-in function of the firewall. So that's why whatever the message is coming from the network, so simply the threatened message can be deleted and forwarded to the dustbin. Next one, application and identity based control. So what type of application is forwarded through the public network, and is it valid of the application? And you can observe some of the systems like mobiles, even mobiles also, iPhone mobiles also cannot forward a vulnerable data to the user, because the device itself is protected some of the data which can be coming from the public network. So which can be takes the valid information and forward that information to the user. So application, it verifies the application whether that application is the identity based or not. Whether if it is an identity based, it can be allowed, other it may be discarded. The third one is the hybrid cloud support. Nowadays without cloud there is no database. So hybrid cloud supported this particular firewall. So the firewall can protect not only the system, not only the network of the system, it also supports to the hybrid cloud support. And the fourth one is the scalable performance. So it will be the performed on the both sides of the parties, not only the public network, it also very scalable performance of the services to provided the private network also. The next one is the fifth one is the network traffic management and control. It always controls the traffic control management. So because of that network flow is very high, even though the firewall can be handled the traffic and verifies each and every point of the communication criteria from the public network. So access validation, we know that the access validation is nothing but, so whether that application or the data are accepted or rejected. If any application or the data can be rejected, it goes to the dustbin. If any valid information is invalid information, it forwarded to the user. So access validation is nothing but there is a specific identification of the access validation, so to access the information. And the last one is the record and report on events. So the firewall can be identified the store and forward method. So it will be the stored whatever the recorded the information, that is a transaction, and it can be displayed the report also. The report can be specified what type of message, okay, so to send the user particulars, everything is the report of the firewall. So it can be maintained both the recording concept. Record is nothing but a transaction which can be taken between the user, that also recorded, and whatever the report, whether it is valid, whether it is an invalid, whether it is accepted, whether it is discarded, whether it is forwarded. So whatever the report can be handled, which is also can be taken one of the each and every event that can be also prepared by the firewall. So this is the major concept of the firewall. In the next video, so we are we will discuss about the types of firewalls and what the advantages of the firewalls. Thank you.